Okay, I know this month is meant to be Mental Health Month, but we have to talk about something very interesting which has just come up recently to my attention. There is an Assembly member for South Central Wales, Mr Bennett, who is a member of the UK Party, the UK Independence Party, said in the Senate, I've got a few quotes from him here. Okay. We need, and I'm quoting him directly here from what he has said. I will put up a link to the BBC Wales news site in which it's said. There's a video of him on there. We need to have a grown-up conversation about minority rights and accept that there will be limits. This is what he said during the Assembly discussing and debating whether transgender people are being allowed to have it easier to change their gender legally is a good idea or not. Okay? So just to reiterate that, we need to have a grown-up conversation, fine, gotta have a grown-up conversation about minority rights. We are a minority, and this is part of our human rights we will get from this, and accept that there will be limits. Limits to what exactly? Limits to what we can work in, limits to where we can go, limits to the fact that we might never be able to call ourselves by the gender that we want. How extremely do you want to go here? I mean, saying there's going to be limits anyway is pretty extreme to me. But he continues, there is only so much deviation from the norm. I'm reading from my phone. There is only so much deviation from the norm that any society can take before that society completely implodes. If we carry on down this road of appeasing the nuttiest elements of the transgender movement, he said, then we will face, as a society within a short space of time, is total implosion. He said this on Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. Yesterday, he goes and makes those comments to call us. What part of me wanting to call myself by the gender I want to be nutty? And we're not asking for. We aren't asking for to be called by the gender we want to be. We want to have the surgery now. That's not what's being brought up in this parliamentary bill. What is being brought up is the fact that we should be allowed to be able to legally change our documents so that our gender is what it's supposed to be. I've renewed my passport, which is here. I have a passport renewal form in which I have to mark down that I'm still male. I could be going to the airport in the smallest dress in the world. I could be there with a little handbag, female names, and yet still I have to put down that I'm male. How demoralising do you think that is? You're going to look at that, male, and they're going to do that double take. And it's going to make you feel so small, and they don't mean to do it. What part of wanting to be comfortable handing over a document that says you are the gender that you want to be? Even if you can put down transgender, just as that, or it gets me angry, and I don't like being angry because I don't like being an angry person. But those comments really have annoyed me. Really have annoyed me. But as a transgender person, this is something that I go through. This is something which perhaps he doesn't understand. So, I would like to extend this as an invitation to Mr Bennett so we can discuss this and debate this in person. I doubt you will, personally. But I'll be sending a copy of this video, a link to this video, to Mr Bennett. And if Mr Bennett wants to discuss this with me, that's fine. I will even go down to his constituency and meet him there, which would be like the other side of the country, pretty much. Because we have to educate people who perhaps don't understand. Because those comments, there's debate which would be, okay, we understand this is a very difficult thing for transgender people to do, to be able to still have their former gender on all their legal documents, but we don't think that it would be wise or advisable for them to be able to change their gender the moment they come out as transgender, because there is situations in which people do change back because they find out it's not really what they need to be. So to save upon that, we would still recommend that there will be at least a year of real life experience before then, or even like just having the diagnosis of body dysphoria or dysmorphia, I can't remember which one it is right now because I'm pretty angry, and then they can go and change it. And with the gender identity clinic being built within Wales, that would hopefully speed things up a lot for people. That's debating. We're calling us the nuttiest element of the transgender community. To say that we have to accept that there's going to be limits to our rights as human beings. Nah. We're not asking for anything more than anybody else. All this is that that this bill is asking for is that we can use the gender legally that we want to use. That's all. Nothing else. I think this still fits in this month's theme. So, Mr Bennett, I'll happily await your response.